Okay, and now let's talk about the third day of Anime NYC. So 2026. I want to say that I was wrong. The kind of group screenings that Crunchyroll had done every year are still here. I'm just really puzzled as to their placement. My guess is that I think the whole show could probably use some reorganizing, because with 4 days they've filled the show up in weird ways. In that, like, they basically give you like an arrival day and an exit day, where both too much and too little are happening. And what I mean there is they could be putting more stuff right at the front and opening up the middle 2 days for more screenings, and still have all the professional industry panels they want to send people, they want to give people an opportunity to go to, because I think those are valuable. And I went to more than I did last. I went to probably more than I did last, actually probably the same amount I did last year, but this year I went to the Kaze industry panel, the J novel industry panel, for day 3, and then I also went to a panel all about like Garu culture, Gal culture, which was really interesting. But I think you could rework the scheduling so stuff like the Garu industry, like the Garu panel, comes sooner, and that would give you more space in those middle days to move stuff around and play with stuff, so you don't have things like this year, the two Crunchyroll like group screenings where you traditionally find things like I can tell you this right now. Here you are, the like I believe it's based off of a Chinese BL property, because what, like, all the names seem Chinese, and the kind of like styling feels like that. That was a standout in the first round of screenings. Like you had Vermilion Mask, which seems interesting but a little edgelordy, and a show called Overgeared, which is kind of like Shangri-La, like what if Shangri-La Frontier, except the guy sucks at the game he's playing, and it's played very much for comedy. And while it was funny, I wonder if that thing will be funny for like 12 episodes, or if it'll get real old real fast. I would have liked to see that earlier in the day. So today, for example, on the 4th day when I'm recording this, we're going in. I basically go in and then go into a screening. I would like to have seen the Crunchyroll screenings like more midday, and I know they had a problem with Kagurabachi being kind of like in the middle, and them knowing that was going to be a huge thing, and they booked the biggest venue to just like do that. But the Kagura, like, that felt a little bit like they were trying to get out of the way of that. But interestingly, like, just because the Kagurabachi kind of like episode 1 premiere was happening. Didn't mean that things like the Garu panel, which was happening at the same time, weren't also full. But I think you could do. There's got to be some sort of like rearranging of the pieces on the board, so you can so you don't have to have things like major and interesting screenings at the very end of the day, and you could have them in the middle of the day and give more attendants the opportunity to sit in those screenings and see more anime and discover more anime, because as I mentioned yesterday in my article, like, these group screenings are great for discovering new shows and getting people to watch things they wouldn't otherwise watch. I would have never watched probably any of the shows that were in this first screening, any of the 3 of them, just because like Vermilion Mask feels like it would get lost. Overgeared, I might encounter that in a like rundown and chuckle, but never get to it. And neither of those are a shame, but like, here you are, beautifully produced. It's like really beautifully produced, and it's just not a genre. I'm not a boys love kind of person. Nothing against it. I just don't generally seek it out. But I think when I like get to the end here and like do my final like actual full podcast about all of it, I'll like look at everything and I'll be like, this is a totally good and interesting convention that needs better scheduling, that needs like to take a hard look at where it's putting its programming, because there is stuff to do, just not evenly distributed among the essentially 3 full days that they have, because you have basically the second half of the day on Thursday and the first half of the day on Sunday can be treated like a full day, and then you have Friday and Saturday, which are both full serious days. And I think you could be doing more stuff, more interesting stuff with that. And also, I think you could take the opportunities that like the first half of third day and the last half of third day and the first half of Sunday present to get more fan panels in there somehow. Also, this is the thing that everybody says, like, if you're going to call something a thing in your scheduling app, call it the same thing in the in the real world. I didn't know that Crunchyroll screenings were happening because they were called something different on the boards on the standees outside each panel room than they were in the app. So like that's probably the biggest thing. Is like, hey, name stuff the right way. It just makes it easier. And like, put stuff like, I know you want to be promotional about like what you think will be the headline show, but just be like, hey, Crunchyroll anime screening, boom, Crunchyroll anime screening, boom, and let people show up and enjoy it. But on that note, that's probably where I'm going to leave it, because I have to, I have a little bit, but I have to like pack up and check out and be on time and get breakfast and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's how this third day went.